So recently I was thinking all the way back to 2018 when I started playing pickleball, and some of the mistakes that I made, whether it was from bad advice or just a lack of experience. I don't want you guys to have to learn the hard way like I did. So in today's video, I'm gonna give you my top 5 things that I wish I knew from the very beginning when I started playing. Let's go. So the first one that I want to talk about is what I call dinking with a purpose. So the common narrative that I heard a lot when I first started was, don't pop up your dinks, don't pop up the ball, keep it unattackable, keep it in the kitchen. So it's creating a mindset of what I don't want to do rather than what I do want to do. Rather than just thinking, don't pop it up every time I was hitting a shot, I started focusing on what exactly do I want the ball to do. Our brains work better when we give them more specific instructions, and don't pop up the ball is not a specific instruction at all. So here's an example. If I'm hitting a dink and I just tell myself, don't pop it up, that could go anywhere. There's no kind of point to that thought in my mind. But if I hit a dink and I tell myself, I want to hit it 6 inches over the net to that corner target where that cone is, that's an instruction that my brain can comprehend and can try to act on. The value in that is when you give yourself more specific instructions of what you want to do with the ball, your body will respond with more confidence and more purpose. Okay, so my second major tip for you guys is the third shot drop is not as hard as you think. Again, this is another common narrative that I hear a lot with beginners, or I hear a lot with new players, or I heard when I was a newer player, and it is that the third shot drop is the hardest shot in pickleball. I just simply don't agree with that. If you've watched my other videos, you know that we're always trying to simplify dink technique. And in my opinion, the third shot drop is just an extension of your dink. If I've got the same technique for all the shots, and if I come up here and I hit a dink, if I back up a step and I hit another one, I back up one more step and I hit another one. The question is, when does this go from just a dink to all of a sudden it's the hardest shot in all of pickleball? Mindset is super important in pickleball. If you go into it telling yourself it's really difficult, then you're gonna miss it more because you've already convinced yourself that it's really hard to make this shot. If we start telling ourselves, hey, I can dink, I've got a good dink, it's simple, it's effective, I can also do it from a few steps farther away, and I can also do it from back at the baseline. It's really no different. I don't have to reinvent the wheel to hit this shot. Okay, so for our third tip, I wanna talk ready position. The ready position gets talked about and taught a lot on videos and from coaches, and rightfully so. It is extremely important. If your body is not athletic and ready and your paddle is not neutral and ready, then you're giving yourself less of a chance to be able to react to whatever comes. Here's the problem. In my experience, I've seen a lot of misunderstanding about why we're not in our ready position. It's possible that maybe you just haven't trained your ready position and you keep forgetting to get there. And if that's the case, then we've got to work on our discipline of getting back into that position. But the other thing I see a lot is a breakdown in ready position due to the previous swing. So if I go to make a volley and that previous shot gets too big to where I get overextended, I'm off balance, my paddle's too far away from my body. Pickleball happens quickly. By the time that ball hits and comes back, I physically don't have enough time to pull all that back, and so now I can't be in ready position. Even if I know I should be in ready position, even if I'm disciplined about my ready position, it's physically impossible. I don't have the time to get back. And when that happens, we actually have to look at the previous swing as the culprit. So if I build all of my swings to be a little more compact, not get away from my body, and finish more centered, now I don't have to focus on ready position as much because I'm never putting myself outside of that space. For my fourth tip, we're going to talk about positioning and understanding that positioning really matters. I think I knew that from the beginning with a tennis background, but what I didn't know is which parts of positioning should I be focused the most on. But if you focus on 3 main things, that's gonna cover a lot of the positioning mistakes that I commonly see. So the first one is, as the returner, as the person returning the serve, you must get to the kitchen line behind that return every single time. This is the advantage that we have built in pickleball as the receiving team, so we cannot give it up. We've got to find a way to get from the receiving position up to the kitchen line every time. The next part of positioning that gets misunderstood a lot is, what do we do as the serving team? So the common mistake I hear is, we're told that we want to get to the kitchen line in pickleball, which is true. So we see that serving team hit and just run up to the net. They just bum rush to the net no matter what. As the serving team, you have to learn to play your way to the kitchen line. You're at a disadvantage in the point, and you have to earn your way to get up to this line. So the easiest way to think about this is, as the receiver, we're gonna have urgency to get to the line. As the serving team, we're gonna have patience, but still try to get to the line. The third thing that I want to talk about for positioning is pretty simple, and it has to do with how we move laterally in the court. How do we shift and help with our partner? The simplest way that I can describe this to people is just stand closer to your partner. So if this is my partner right here, the closer I am, the more my partner and I squeeze the middle and force the ball to the outside. So why would we want to do that? Well, if I stand here, there's no risk in a shot up the middle. Okay, so that's the last shot on a pickleball court we ever want to give up. If we come closer and we squeeze this and we give you the look that you are not hitting the ball through this middle, now your options become out to the side. And guess what? When you hit to the sideline, there's risk. The out of bounds are out there. So we always want to take away the big part of the court, which is the middle, and force the ball to the risky part of the court. Okay, so the last and maybe most important of all the things that it took me a while to learn in pickleball is to learn to handle pace. When I first started, all the focus was on the soft game. Dropping, learning how to dink, learning all that stuff. And that's great, that is all very important stuff. But I couldn't figure out why, when I was maybe out dinking somebody, but they could just blast the ball at me and I couldn't handle it, I was losing games still. Why is that? If dinking is the most important thing in pickleball, then why am I losing to these people? Your ability to handle pace is probably the most important skill that you can have on the pickleball court, especially as the game is changing. We're getting more tennis players, we're getting younger players, we're getting more athletic players, we're getting harder hitting players into this sport, and the game is only getting faster. And most people that come into the game, especially if they're not highly skilled, the first thing they're gonna do is test you with power. They're gonna hit hard at you, they're gonna speed up at you, they're gonna drive at you, and if you can't handle that, and you're gonna lose that game. I've done a lot of videos that have gone more in depth on a lot of these topics, so if you go to the description below, you can see the list of all 5 of these topics, and any videos that I have that maybe relate to what we talked about. So if you wanna dive deeper into some of these topics, check out those videos below. So there you go, guys. That's my top 5 things that I wish I knew back when I started pickleball. Also, as always, want to shout out my paddle sponsor, Selkirk. They're doing great things. If you have any Selkirk needs, whether it be paddles or apparel, check them out. Use my code also in the description below, and you can get free gift cards with your purchase. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys liked the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All those things help me reach more people, which means I can grow my channel, which hopefully means I can start making more videos. See you next time. Thanks.